All right, well, let's get started with episode 322 of the Current Gen podcast. Kyle is here. I'm here. And we have a blank square. I think someone's going to join us. We'll find out. But last week, I wasn't paying enough attention, and we missed when Jeff joined. So he was sadly sitting off on the side talking to himself. He
It
could
was
hear us. He
almost
could see
3
us.
hours he
But
was waiting there for us. It was so
at
long
least,
in the waiting
at
room.
least 3 hours. That's right. Uh, but yeah, we are. Listen, this is a crazy time of year. We just have game after game. It feels like really high scoring, both for critics and users. Games just coming out every couple of weeks at least. In some cases, it's only a week between. It's been a wild run, and it's been really exciting. And so this week, of course, we have Forza Horizon 6 is out early for those who paid the extra, and two of our podcast co-host did pay that extra, and they're going to talk about it. So that game is out. It's out officially for the rest of us this coming week. And Game Pass users, or if you just bought it on something like Steam or another platform, then yeah, it'll be available to you this coming week if you didn't pay all the extra money. So we'll talk about Forza, and there's a few other games out that we like to go over. Talk about some stuff that maybe you don't have on your radar that you should. Because I got to tell you, between all these huge games, Kyle, it's nice to have a little palate cleanser here and there,
Yeah,
just every once in a
always.
while. Yeah, whether it's a sim game or some weird little indie pixelated something or other, or both. In Dan's case, playing that little gas station game that was both, it's pixelated and sim. So yeah, it's always nice to have that palate cleansed just a little bit. But Kyle, before we get into that, we're gonna go out of order here just really quickly, not to put you on the spot. But you've been wrapping up games a lot this year. Like your completion rate is impressive. And that's even for games you've played before, and you're like, you know what? I just want to replay this. Maybe it's a remastered version. Tell me about some of the other than the new stuff. We'll talk about Forza and some of the other games. But
Yeah.
you finished a couple of games recently. Why don't you highlight a couple of those?
Yeah, I have been cleaning up the backlog. I love to start JRPGs and get 50 hours into them and then just stop playing them. That's my favorite thing to do. I've been doing it my entire life, and I will never stop. But I tend to always circle back. Sometimes a year later, sometimes it might be two, and wrap up the games just because I do like to see all the stuff I buy through. I don't always do, but I try my best. And one of the things I did wrap up is Persona 3 Reload, which I had never played this version of the game before. This is the remake from like a year ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. How old is this game? I don't know. It doesn't really
It
matter. But
says this video we're watching is a review from Noisy Pixel. It says 2 years ago.
ooh, yeah. So I took a 2 year break, and that's on me. I stopped right kind of at the end, and of course, and I wish Dan were here to back me up. But like when I say the end in this game, I kind of mean, and like maybe you remember my metaphor commentary, but I think I'm at the end of this game and there was still like 30 or 40 hours left. That's exactly what happened here. And I've beaten the original three, so like the original Persona 3, so like I should have known better, but like I was at the very end, quote unquote, and still ended up putting about 35 hours into the game to wrap it up, and I got all the extra special persona. I got all the, think of it like legendaries or special summons like from Final Fantasy or something like that, and just steamrolled that final boss. I mean, it was just,
Nice.
these games are hard, so like that's a pretty nice feather in my cap. I do remember this one maybe
Yeah.
being a little easier than like other, like I know 5 and like 4 and metaphor are just like at the very end it's just like, why is this boss so like hard? It doesn't make any sense, this difficulty
Yeah.
spike. So I was happy to just kind of steamroll this guy to get it off my plate finally. And man, this game is bleak at the end, just a bleak, just to kind of go over some of the themes. I'm not going to spoil it too much here, but it's a 16-year-old game. You can get bent if you don't want to hear a theme or something like that. A
Yeah.
light,
Skip ahead
little
if it's that
thing
big
what
of
I'm
a deal to
talking
you.
about here. Yeah, I guess.
Skip
Yeah,
ahead.
it's
Yeah.
really not going to spoil anything. But like the themes of uh, like the coming things coming to an end, and a life cycle wrapping up, and stuff like that, and like your characters just kind of like being confronted with that, and like still like having to go to school every day and trying to decide if it is it even worth living anymore, knowing that everything's coming to an end here,
Yeah.
is very heavy and very well taken care of and well written in this game. It's very mature, I think some of the other games end and they're kind of like fantastical and fun and stuff like that. This one's like mature and bleak and then bittersweet, at the end after it's all said and
Mm.
done. It's definitely my favorite ending of the three modern day Personas, like
Mm.
100%.
Oh, interesting.
Not my
Okay.
favorite Persona game. I think it's still 4 for
But
me.
you like
I like small
the
town.
story wrap up.
I like the story. I think the conclusion of this is better than all three for sure. I like 4 the best just
Interesting.
because it's Twin Peaksy. You're in like a small town and everyone's weird, and I'm like, yeah, this is like my vibe. It's very Kyle.
Yeah.
3 and 5 are both in Tokyo in a major city. The scope is a little bigger of what like the problem you're dealing
Okay.
with, whereas like 4 is like a murder mystery and it's very kind of like contained and you're like, we got to figure out who
I
killed
remember
this
that when
person
playing
or these
Golden a
people.
bit. A lot of the murder mystery
Yeah,
is
it's
kind of how
just
things
it's just
kick
content,
off.
and sometimes smaller is better. I don't know. I don't know. Everything doesn't need
Yeah.
to be huge in scope. Not that
It
there's
was a little
that's not a
everyone knows
criticism to 3 and
everyone
5.
vibe in that one.
Everyone
From
knows
what I
everyone vibe
remember.
is great. I do love that a lot. Yeah. And yeah, I mean these games are all kind of end similarly in some way, where it's like through the power of friendship we beat God, or the devil or whatever.
Either
And
one.
I
Both.
love that. Yeah, but like that's all JRPGs. That's not a Persona
Yeah,
thing. You
it's
played enough
true.
Final Fantasies to know that by the end of
Oh yeah.
all these games, you're fighting the creator or whatever. So,
And when in doubt,
um,
you're just fighting against sin. It's like, all right, cool. We'll fight
yep,
against
yep, right.
sin.
Who
That
ends
sounds
up
good.
being the machinations of the dreamers. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
so ultimately, you're just fighting, the creators in that. So
And
it's
it
just
started so simply.
I know, yeah. I'm just like, wasn't I like a sports ball player at the beginning of this game? How did
Yeah,
I end up here? 10's awesome.
right.
We don't need to go on that side quest
10
though,
is
but
so good.
I really like this game a lot. I'm just reaffirming that this is one of my favorite JRPG franchises out there. They're brutally long. I get it. 5
Yeah,
specifically, like the tail end of that. I think Dan even said so. It's just like, and not that we're bored, but you're like, this needs to wrap up. Like
yeah.
I can't believe y'all are squeezing this much out of the end game here. But I like that. I think that I was
But
saying in
you
chat, I was like,
mentioned
there's something
friendship in
nice.
this one. Is there
Yeah,
a pretty good like I don't know, relationship system too? Because I know 5 did a good job with like different
yeah,
characters you could connect with romantically or just as
they're
friends or
all
whatever.
have that
I like the
mechanic.
development in that.
Yeah, since
Okay.
three kind of created that like what they call the social links, and like that's been a through line in
The
DNA for the whole
social links.
series. And this has adopted more things from 5, Reload or whatever. So mechanics
Okay.
made their way back in
It
and,
added some
and kind
stuff.
of
Okay.
enriched, what was already there. But yeah, the characters in
Gotcha.
this are spectacular. I think it's just like the Tales series. Like when you're playing a Persona game, you're playing a Tales game. If the characters suck, you don't care. There's no engagement. I'm
Yeah.
spending how many hours with these people and I hate all of them, Like
Path.
thankfully 3, 4, and
Yeah.
5 all have great characters in my opinion, but I've played plenty of
Yeah.
Tales games where it's just like all these people suck and I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm not going to put
That's fair.
80 hours into this. So um,
Mhm.
yeah, I really like this game. I'm glad I looped back around and beat it. And again, I didn't remember the ending, so it was 16 years ago. So I was
Yeah.
a little shocked by just like how like dark and depressing, and then at the very end, nicely tied together, and you feel good about everything. You're not left like on like a sour note or anything like that. It's very hopeful and
Mm.
beautiful for like a dumb game about teenagers fighting demons. Like it's
Yeah.
very there's some emotional complexities there and some nice messages, some good themes and things that I think I grew up when like watching movies like you get nice life lessons that you can take into life. A little too old to learn these life lessons, but like if kids are playing these games or high schoolers or whatever, I could see people taking away some nice lessons from
Yep.
this into their real life. But good stuff.
Well, let's talk about another game that I know both of us finished. Let me just pull this up here real quick. And I'm bringing it up mainly because it's been so controversial, and I think for some dumb reasons over the last couple of weeks. But Mixtape. We talked about this
Oh
last
yeah,
week. We were all really enjoying it. And by the way, I think Kyle, you finished it, Jeff finished it,
I
and
did.
I finished it. I
Yeah.
think. Um, so I'll pull up the skill up review here. And the reason I'm bringing up the review also is because reviews are at the core of a lot of this controversy. Whether it's people looking at it going, "Wow, they're gonna," like, there's some kind of conspiracy with, I don't know, cultural messaging or political whatever, and I just
Yeah.
don't see it in this game.
It's
So
woke. It's about gay kids or
I don't
something.
see
I
it,
don't know.
but it's not. So that's where I'm
I
confused
know.
about like
Yeah. Yeah.
what is the controversy? Like you might not
I don't
like
know.
the whole like stoner music approach. Maybe you didn't like
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused, which to me it really has that
eh,
DNA. But I did. I actually brought this up when we were talking about it, not knowing it would be such a big deal. I don't feel like there is a 2026 agenda or cultural discussion happening in mixtape. I think it's like a love letter to the 90s, and maybe it wasn't your
yeah.
90s
It's not saying
experience.
anything
Pieces
about
of it were
today.
not pieces of it were not my 90s experience. That's fine, but it still has enough of those nostalgia pieces, even from the technology, the way the cars looked, the bands they were talking about, the movies they were referencing. I'm like, I don't know why people are so mad about it, but we've all finished it. Now Jeff's on the call. Welcome, Jeff. And we
Hey,
we have not been paid by anyone to say we liked this game. We were not convinced to make some kind of cultural or social or political statement to say we liked it. It's just a solid interactive movie style video game. Is it a 10 out
Yeah,
of
it's an
10?
experience.
Personally, I don't think it is, but that doesn't mean can't be for someone else. I don't think it's bad if someone else thinks it is. To me, it reminded me a lot of, not, I wouldn't say stuff like Walking Dead or Life is Strange. Here we
Ugh,
go, this part again.
ugh,
I wouldn't say
God.
it was like those games because those games did have much more gameplay mechanically, but this still, like you're seeing a part right here, there were enough pieces in here that I didn't feel like I was just watching.
Yeah, I would
Um, t-
never call this a game. This is where we live in a world now where like people make interactive experiences, and this is very close to a visual novel without like the wall of text.
yes,
So it's like if you
and
need to
dude,
reframe your mind,
as I'm getting older, I'm really enjoying more of the visual novel style of stuff. Like the Artful
yeah,
Escape, the game by these devs was very similar. It told a very like all you're doing is walking to the
mhm,
right for most of that game and hitting
yep,
jump sometimes. And
doing some
that's
rhythm
it,
type
man. You're
mechanics,
hitting a button to like rip a solo on the guitar, but you're just looking at the crazy visuals and you're listening to the music
right?
and you're not doing a lot. So I guess going in with that context into this, I was like, hey, this feels kind of like a 3D version of Artful Escape experience where I'm not
Right,
doing a lot, but I'm just soaking it all in and I'm enjoying it. And there's enough little moments like this that I was like, hey, that's fun. They didn't have to do that, but all right, I'll skip some rocks for a
right.
little while. Like, I don't
Even the
know, man.
skateboarding was like fun. It's not complex,
Yeah,
but
the
it's just
skateboarding
like,
was
yeah,
fun.
this is like fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it a
Um,
skateboarding game? No,
No,
obviously.
yeah, it's not a
You have like
game. Yeah,
three
it's
buttons.
barely a game. Again,
It's ba-
I would chalk it
yeah,
up to just being kind of like it's not a
a
visual
visual
novel,
novel.
but like something closer
It's
to
close to
that,
it.
just a narrative
It's closer to it.
experience that
Yeah.
has light interactivity.
Yeah.
And I think that people get hung up on like, well, as a game, there's no way that it's as good as people say it is. And I'm like, I don't think people are like grading this on like it being a game. I think people are grading it on
I
like
wasn't.
emotional
Yeah.
evocation or whatever, like how did this make me
Yeah.
feel? It made me feel this way. I'm from this era, so it made me feel this way. I'm gonna give it this number or whatever. I think like that's kind of more where the reviews are coming from. I think people just can't stand it when like people write
I think
reviews
so
with
too.
feelings. I think that people just can't handle that, which again I get.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that, but like I get why there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
I just wish
Yeah.
that people wouldn't make it their entire. I mean, I saw like the Inside Games with Lawrence and Bruce. They were covering this, and like people were making uh profiles just to like dunk on this game on Metacritic and stuff like that, just to like review like day of created pro, and it's just like,
That's
guys,
so
get a
ridiculous.
fucking new hobby. Like I just see
For
like
real.
that's a real weird like use of your time to like go out of your
I
way to
love
like
this
make
part.
accounts,
This
and
part's so
it's so
fun.
oh my
fun.
God.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my take. I think people are just mad that like people are like again grading with feelings right now, because that's all this game is. It's just like a thing that evokes like, ooh, I remember that. Oh, this song. Ooh, like that's what it is. It's a evoking feelings
Yeah.
factory. That's all it is, with some light gameplay elements.
I mean, I honestly kind of equate it to if someone makes a really compelling and engaging mobile game that mostly is just you tapping the screen every once in a while, and sometimes you swipe and sometimes you tap, like whatever. But and someone loves it. I'm not mad at them for loving that just because it's and maybe doesn't have the full video game experience that I like when I'm sitting down to play for 70 hours. Like, all right, that's totally fine. Uh, so the amount of hate this is getting, I think, is it's above and beyond. It's unneeded. I think there's people that are drawing battle lines that aren't needed for a game like this. I think there are times when developers overstep into stuff like this, just in terms of like, hey, you're getting what you ask for. You want to be controversial, you're going to get controversy. I just don't feel that with this one. This one just it
Yeah.
surprises me a little bit. that this is so what do you think, Jeff? Do you feel like people are
I
ridiculous? Is there
I
stuff
feel
we don't know about?
zero controversy with this one as it relates to, I assume, political messaging or something that might identity
But
politics.
what would it be? Like
There's just
who the
like
best
nothing
bands
in
were?
the game about
There
that.
aren't any identity politics in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's nothing.
it's just like these are three
Maybe like
best friends.
self-identity, like just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, it's more
where's
like
my
more
place in this world?
existential.
You know,
Yeah, it's
existential.
Yeah.
far
Thank you.
more
It is.
existential than like
There's even a word
something
for it,
like
everybody.
oh, I don't know what trans is, but I am trans, or whatever your line is
Right.
in the sand. I don't, whatever, but
And
it's
everyone's
just
got
not
their line
existing
that they
here.
draw.
Like,
Sure. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like this one is just
Yeah.
like even with these three core friends, there's no romantic anything between any of these people. They just each get something from
No.
each other where their personality might be lacking or complements each
Yeah.
other or whatever. And it feels genuine. It feels so real. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like there's some screenshots here of 80s movies and stuff like that. You know,
Uh-huh.
like Breakfast Club. This is Reality Bites, I think. Right?
Reality
I
Bites
think.
rocks.
Yeah.
Ethan
That
Hawke.
is, yeah, you're right.
And High Fidelity is a
High
great
Fidelity.
point of reference
Woo!
for this
Great
one
movie.
because she is literally kind of like John Cusacking at the screen for a lot of her song
lot.
choices and
That's
stuff
That's
like
so
that.
true.
It's
Yeah.
the
it's
same
so
thing.
perfect. Could not be more perfect.
Incredible.
So like
movie.
even though this was not my 90s, I you know, I'm almost 40, you know, I'm not
I was nowhere
I
near
would
this
say you're-
cool.
I wasn't
I
near
would say
this
you were
yet.
close enough to
but-
this. I would say you were
Yes,
like, you know
I
what
grew up
mean?
watching those
Yeah.
movies though, like Reality Bites and like Airheads, and of course High Fidelity was 2000, but it's still like I don't know. There's like
It reminded
it's
me
like,
of moments
I'm
going to
nostalgic
my.
for an era I didn't grow up in almost because they illustrated
Yeah.
it so beautifully. You know, like
I remember going to my buddy's
I bought
house
it.
before school. I would get up extra early knowing that he wouldn't be up yet. I'd wake him up and we would just chill in his room with him and his older brother. And I remember putting on I'm not kidding. Like I'm not trying to just match it with this, but like we put on a Third Eye Blind CD because it was new to
Oh,
me. I hadn't really
God,
listened to
yes.
them much. But like
Self-titled.
it just
That's their best. Absolutely.
it just
yes.
yeah, that was their best album by far.
Yeah.
But it just like those memories just stick with you, and the music is attached to it. Music is just
Same.
attached to these memories, and they explain that in this. And yes, maybe there's elements of it that don't, and a lot of the reviewers maybe weren't around the 90s, so for them to call it nostalgic, you
Yeah.
want to criticize them because this wasn't nostalgic for you. You weren't even born. Like, okay, like fine. But I wasn't around in the 70s, and if I saw something that really felt like what I thought the 70s were like, I would
Yeah.
call that nostalgic.
Yeah,
even though
you
I
mean
wasn't
like
there, so
a prime example, which is a movie, but Days of Confused. You watched it and went,
Yeah,
they made this in the
exactly.
70s, right? No,
Right,
it came out in '93.
right.
It was Richard
But
Linklater.
also,
who's
like, there are through lines
still-
of
still
all
a young
people
chap,
who
so-
grew up, maybe before like recent generations that lived like a templated life like this. You know, like this movie
Yeah.
takes place in the '90s, but they're kind of living the same life and like beats as they were in Dazed and Confused, which takes place in the '70s. Because ultimately, we all kind of live
Yeah,
through something like this, something
Yes,
tangentially
yeah.
adjacent to this. You know, like that.
And you're
that
trying to converge,
experience
like
is-
kind of
is
like Days of Confused. You all
cross-generational.
converge to a party, and you know it's your last
right.
hurrah, basically.
And you're
Yeah,
trying
So
to
it's
get
kinda
booze.
Right.
Like that's a big part of
Yeah.
it. They were trying to get
you're
weed,
trying
trying to
you're
get
trying to
booze.
score
Like
booze underage. You know,
Yeah.
there was a lot of hanging out in the woods, like for me and my buddies. You know, there was a lot of
Same.
piling into cars and listening to music on the way to something that we shouldn't really be going to, and we all lied to our parents to go to this thing. Like it just. We all went through that stuff, you know what I mean? And maybe,
Kyle,
maybe if you
not
did,
to-
you still knew a buddy who did, you know?
Well,
You
yeah,
had a
not-
and
Kyle-
one
not to
parent is
out
locking you in the
Kyle's,
house. Another parent is offering you and
Yeah.
your friends margaritas. Like all the
Yeah.
parents are very different from each other. Too.
So like,
Yeah.
not to out Kyle's personal life, but he did have that cop dad element too. So like, it's kind of like that's
I have
another
a cop
element.
Dad. So like an overbearing like cop father who was constantly
that's
trying
amazing.
to thwart plans and like so it's like I had a lot of and like
This was very
Jeff's
artful
age.
escape. This stuff with the cars flying, with the jumping through the
Yeah.
fields, with blowing up the fireworks.
Very much so.
It felt like the
yeah.
finale of Artful Escape as you're going through these final sections and everything's just
Yeah.
going wild. And it just reminded me of that. Like, I got to tell you, this to me was just like a visual and audio experience that happened to have some interactivity throughout. I actually thought the little gameplay things were kind of fun at times and kind of like, yeah, they didn't have to do that, but that's fine. I'll hit a button. And sometimes they were like, oh, skipping rocks is actually kind of fun. I'll do this for a while. We talked about that last week too.
Yeah.
So is it technically a video game? Yeah. Is it full visual novel to Kyle's point? No, but it certainly leans closer to that than it does to something that's going to have a ton of mechanics and all kinds of deep layers of
These guys are
gameplay.
definitely doing
Doesn't
something
have that.
they're doing something
Yeah.
new with the medium for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think people who are thinking of the word like game as like a binary like thing it is or it isn't a video game, like you just need to like that's not it hasn't really been a thing for a while now. Like this is not the first of its kind. There's a lot of experiences that are not like gamey, that are in the entertainment or game space. And just open up your mind a little bit, and they don't have to be for you either. Like I hate stuff
Right.
like that. You don't have to play it. Yeah, that's totally
Yeah.
okay. And I
That's
don't
true
want
too.
every
Yeah.
video game ever to be like this. I will take one of these every once
Yeah.
in a while. Like it is nice to kind of have a little. We were just talking about palate cleansers, like a palate cleanser like this,
Yeah.
and also I just to go back to the controversy stuff. Not that I want to get back into that, but like it's music is just loved by everybody. Yes, we all love different music, but like the message that this is trying to convey about how like music changes your life or that like you it creates memories and stuff like that should be able to apply to anybody on earth. Period. So as long, it's not an alien message or a forceful message. It's something that everybody deep down does agree with. I like music, and that's all what this is, just a love letter to music. And I'd be shocked if anybody didn't find one song that they didn't add to their Spotify after playing this game. At least one,
Yeah.
right? Like so.
Well, there's a
There were
whole
some.
score there's a whole movie score I found out about through this game. I didn't know that there was a
Yeah,
score for Apocalypse
I thought
Now
about you.
that
I thought about
I
you
didn't
existed.
just like
either.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
movie came out. So I'm like, well, I got to go
I
listen
was
to
like,
that.
this is something Jeff would know.
Yeah.
This seems like.
I knew that about 2001, but nobody ever heard that. So
That's what I thought.
But see,
That
Yeah.
specifically, the
I didn't.
2001, I was like, ooh, I didn't know that, but I bet Jeff did. Was
Yeah, I
later,
did.
like,
Yeah, he
for the
replaced it with
2001, yeah.
already created music, basically. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I wasn't
licensed
like
music.
I wasn't knowledgeable about music like they are, or like John Cusack is in High Fidelity or whatever. I wasn't a music buff. I enjoyed it, and I was learning a lot in high school, mostly in college. Though I think college I got most of my music exposure and really grew into the kind of bands that I liked. But I can absolutely relate to like certain songs, certain albums, certain bands, but also just certain things you have a stupid amount of knowledge about that for whatever reason we didn't have phones, man. We were bored. We were just going
Yeah.
to the
True.
library and stocking up on CDs for free and burning them onto like this is what we were doing in the late 90s, early 2000s. So like to me, if nothing else, this is a there are no cell phone simulator. So see what life might have been like before
Yes,
everyone had
that's
a cell
Yeah,
phone.
and it was better.
look at it that way.
People were floating. That's what life was like before
Yeah.
cell phones. We were out there floating.
I was literally
Right,
floating
man.
in a field when I was 8 years old.
Talking to
Cars
animals.
could fly. Yep. Yep. But it's funny because there's the party sequence towards the end where it's like everyone literally is engaging with each other, and it's kind of a movie type of a party. Like I know that all parties aren't like that, and they weren't like that for me either. But it did kind of one person has a camera, so everyone is like mugging for the camera, but that's it. Like
Yes.
otherwise, everyone is
Yeah.
interacting with each other because that's all that's there. Like people didn't have devices. It was just different, man.
Right.
It's just different.
My favorite
So-
part too, by the way, is of that. And there's no really way to spoil this game, but like that part of filming people and just having the option to give everybody the finger. I just did that every time. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody jumped off
I
the
did all
roof
three.
and went into like a buddy
Yeah.
what are those
A
really
baby
small
pool.
kiddie pools,
Yeah.
baby
Yeah.
pool,
Uh-huh.
and I gave him the finger after he jumped off, and I
Yeah.
died laughing.
Yeah.
I was
What you
like,
get.
Uh-huh.
That's what you
what you
get, you
get.
idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I would be the
man.
first one to say it's not for everyone, but like, I mean, I liked stuff like Firewatch. I enjoyed that game, and I don't think I used a video gamer skill once when playing that. I was walking around the forest talking on the radio to someone. I don't remember doing anything that took any kind of skill or gameplay. There are games that I
Yeah.
think are just made to tell a story, and they want you to engage with it because when you're playing it, you're leaning in a little more than if you're just listening to an audiobook or
Yeah.
a podcast
Yeah.
or watching a movie. So
I'd argue
I would
that
argue
is definitely the case for Mixtape with its whip sharp, like
I think so
whip
too.
sharp dialogue. Like the dialogue is
Mhm.
so hilarious,
Yeah.
and you just have to pay attention because there's going to be a one-liner that kills you. Like it's just going to be so
Yeah.
funny.
Mhm.
And yeah, they all kind of talk like the turtles from Finding Nemo. They're all kind of chaw. Like there's a lot of that going on.
Cha.
But it's
Yeah,
funny.
Cha.
yeah.
I-
But I knew
I
people like that, Like I
Me
had
too.
friends who
Totally.
talk just like that, Like it's not.
Yeah.
Go back and watch a '90s
Totally.
movie. There's always a guy or girl that talks like that in every single movie. So.
And hey, I just want to say this is an example of where review scores actually do a disservice to the game because the main reason everyone's mad is because these reviewers, having just lambasted a bunch of major releases over the course of the last several months, of course
Yeah.
IGN, but others, their scores being all over the place, and then this one comes out to pretty universal high critic scores, and everyone lost their mind, and it's like, okay, this is where
Yeah,
the
I think
scores are actually more of a disservice.
it's just a
Because
whiplash effect. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
definitely think it
bad.
was a whiplash for sure.
yeah, but I keep track of games that I play every year, and I give them like a little score off on the side just to kind of remind myself like how much I liked it. And I usually do it like on it's 5 points, but I give myself 0.5, so it's a 10-point scale technically. And I do that because I know psychologically anything below a 6 feels like a fail because of the way I was raised with school. I can't help it. Anything below like 60%
It's
feels
true.
like
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
bad. And so if I go 1 through 5 with 0.5s, then giving something a 3 doesn't feel so bad. It feels like it's above average if I do a 3
Yeah,
or a 3.5. But
X-Play style.
anyway, but this one to me is right there in that 4, 4.5, about 4 out of 5 range for me, give or take. So
Yeah,
like,
4 from me too. Yeah.
but I'm gonna remember it. It's gonna stick with me, just like Artful Escape. It's stuck with
Mhm.
me. I still
I
think
feel
about
like
that game
the
whenever it pops
controversy
up
of it,
for real cheap. I'm like, ooh, I should
I
play
feel
it.
like the controversy of
Never.
this echoes a lot like what like Journey went through back in the day. You know, the game you just jump through, like you just jump the
Oh
entire time.
gosh.
All you do is you're just jumping, you know. Like I just feel like there was a lot of pushback of that game too. And people were like,
Oh, what do you
"Oh,
even
that
do?
game's
What do you
all
even do with
it's
other
all
players in there?
vibes, and
You don't even do
the
anything.
vibes are good, and the music's good, and there's a nice message at the end. It's just a cool game." And people were like, "Shut up! Feelinger, you suck." You know, like I feel like there's a little bit of parallels going on with like Journey and
That's
Mixtape.
right. They should be less mad about this kind of stuff. It's a cheap game if you want to buy it. You could also play it
Yeah,
on things like Game Pass if you already subscribe to that. It does not cost you much. It'll go on sale for even cheaper. You can have this experience for very little output on your end financially. But then
yeah,
there's
time
stuff
wise.
like Forza Horizon 6 where you got to pay hundreds just to play it early, you know? And
Who would do
you got a
that?
couple of schmucks.
Not
Just kidding.
me. I bought my game. Only one schmuck here. Only one person
Yeah,
paid
Only
the $80 to not own a game.
I'm
That would be
I'm
Jeff.
the biggest schmuck of them all, honestly.
So speaking of
Oh my
reviews, I
god,
thought it'd be
just
fun
look
to
at
bring
it.
up the IGN review of this because they gave this a 10. But
Yeah.
anyway, we don't
Boo!
usually look at
That's
the IGN
stupid. Too many
review.
roads. 10 out of 10.
Too many roads.
Too many, yeah.
Uh,
Too immersive, too many Japanese things. I don't understand what's going on. 6 out of 10.
but okay, I won't get to play this until this coming
What's
week. I'm
Fast and
very
Furious
excited to
doing
play
in
Oh,
it.
this?
shut up. What is this even? What are the parallels
This is
here?
IGN. Hey, this is
It
IGN's
is.
review.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
IGN, come on.
Oh, by the way, total rabbit trail thought here, real quick, while we're all watching the beautiful Forza Horizon 6 in action. I saw someone do a comparison of, maybe this has been done before. It was new to me. I had never thought about it. How Fast and Furious is just Point Break. It's the same story. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
really
Of
put those
course,
two
yes,
things together.
absolutely. I
Yeah,
knew
you
that.
didn't know
The
that.
ending
I
beat
did, but
is
I didn't really
identical.
think about those two movies as being the same. Like, oh yeah, those are
Yeah,
identical
no.
stories. Like, what the
Yeah,
heck?
it's not
I
even
gotta
like
find
kind
those
of
cows. That's
identical.
what I know.
It's just the same
Yeah,
in
go
every
chase the cows,
way.
man.
I gotta find
Okay,
those cows
so
for sure.
Forza Horizon 6 is out for those who have either purchased it or purchased certain editions of it or paid the upgrade fee, whatever. You guys have both been playing it. The reviews, of course, are coming back stellar. It is, as of right now, as of this recording, has the highest critic average review score of the year so far, and that's saying a lot. We've had a lot of great games
That's
already
awesome.
this year.
Yeah.
But give me some of your thoughts. What's been your experience so far? Maybe some of the differentiators from when we played the version that was in a version of Mexico back in, I forget what year that was, 2021, I think, for
Was it that
FH5.
long ago? Jeez.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it was
stupid.
That sounds
How long
21,
right.
ago that
Yeah, that
was.
sounds right.
23, something. Anyway, what do you guys think of this one so far? Give me some of your thoughts.
You go ahead, Jeff.
Mid. No.
That's how I feel. Pass. All right.
Yes.
We'll talk about it next week.
Next.
It's yeah, it caters to the way I already played 5 and 4 for hours and hours and hours. So like I'm already able to figure out very quickly the kind of cars that are going to be my mains, right? And the
Yep.
ones that get me from A to B faster, and I can tune them better and get the whatever you call it, the painting or the vinyl, whatever that I can find through other creators and paste it on whatever, then go from whatever XP board to what they have in here are mascots that you run over. But
Mascot.
anyway, so
I
like
just
there's a
saw
lot of
also-
like
He drove up on the sidewalk and took out a bunch of bikes. Those nice Japanese people just trying to be environmentally friendly. What the heck, dude?
There
Not
have
nice.
never been fewer pedestrians in Japan than in this game.
I know, and
That's for
Tokyo
sure.
is so small. It's like incredibly small. Tokyo is like a metropolis. Like it's ridiculous how big that city is, and it's like here it's
Yeah.
like 3 blocks. Yeah,
Yeah, and a big highway on the outskirts, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. But like it's the additional stuff that they've added though. You can customize your garage now, and you
Oh,
can
nice.
establish estates where like it's like some big property that you buy and you name it, and you can like build it,
You
like
can create test
add more stuff
tracks.
to it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah, you
create
can
like,
create your own tracks on it
or like
and
you
share it
invite
out to
people to
people.
like, yeah, you invite people over and like to hang out like on your like on your land or whatever, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
cool. If you're into that, yeah.
And there's car meets here too. Like if you're the only one there, that's kind of sad. But with a car meet, you just pull up into a parking spot and just you and other people in the game will just look at each other's cars and be like, "Are you going to sell that?" Or like you can kind of buy it from each other, trade it, whatever. That kind of stuff. Those little additions though push this game in terms of gameplay, the extra mile. Get it? But yeah, in terms of like the Japan element, holy crap, dude! This is like the map that was like this was just designed for Forza Horizon. Like literally, I know they had to even truncate it, even more than they did Mexico, and 4 was in Australia. Is that right?
It
Or
was England, right?
England.
England? Okay, I thought that was 3 for some reason. Maybe 3 was in Australia. But yeah, this one is the biggest. They've went balls to the wall with the map size. It's crazy, and the road variety is much super welcome in this. But even then, there's still like if you're an XP like junkie, like I tend to be when I'm hours into this game,
Dude, me
there's
too.
still long stretches of road you can just do, your little XP bursts and just
Yep.
make a U-turn and just do it again, and then just make a U-turn and then just
Look how pretty that
change
is.
cars and, and XP boost yourself and get your driver points, basically, whatever that's called. I forget already, but car points. That's what it
Driving
is.
on the left
Car
side of the
mastery.
road though, like a crazy person. I guess technically that was the case in the one too, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
like
you get used to it. You get used to
you
it
get
for
used to
sure.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I play enough like games and set in Japan where or other like countries where I'm like, I can switch this. Like
Okay,
sleeping
that's
dogs,
fair.
I've like 1,000
Yeah, they
times.
had England
That's
before,
right.
so I was used to it from
Yeah,
that.
you drive on the wrong side of the road on that one. I say
Dude,
the
look
wrong
at
side
this
of the road, but it's the
snow
right side for
course.
that. But, yeah.
Jeez.
Dude, yeah, the snow part, that's a mount. What's the mountain over there? Is it
Fuji?
Fiji or
Fuji?
Fuji? Fuji, thank you.
Fuji.
Yeah, there's a whole biome dedicated to it, and it looks freaking incredible. And there's only a brief showcase at the beginning before you eventually start unlocking things up there. I think the first thing you can unlock up there is a house, but you're not going to have anything else up there unless you start driving up there.
Oh,
And I
so they
haven't
do
gone
the
up there yet.
showcase races, right? Where you kind of, as you unlock a new area, you kind of get to do a tour sort of race, right?
Pretty
They still do
much,
that kind of a
yeah.
thing?
Like they
Yeah,
do those showcase things where the first one was just an overall showcase before the title screen. And if you're
Okay.
playing like Kyle and I, you're not really doing those a lot because you're just kind of unlocking a lot of stuff along the way
Okay.
and trying to play all the things before you get to the next big event. So like I think the third showcase, you're some kaiju or something is running alongside you, and
it's
I'm
a
like,
mech.
what?
It's a giant mech. Yeah.
It's a
Giant
mech, yeah.
Yeah.
Because why not?
I did that. It was the best.
Because why not?
It was the
Yeah.
best. You're racing a Gundam and he's like dashing through the air and like flying. And you're like, how am I
my
gonna beat
God.
this guy? And you do. It's so great. Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The second one was just you're on the docks near the, I don't know if it's a bay or whatever, and that's pretty cool because you're going up and then down them and then doing jumps, and that's pretty
Yeah.
rad.
There's some cool container
Yeah.
like courses. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some, and then there's of course when you finish that, you finally unlock the whole dock area, and there's a ton more collectibles up there that are freaking impossible to reach unless you have the patience of a saint. So that's fun. Where you have to like slightly angle your car to the right, and then it falls off, and you're like, all right.
But I'm guessing, and I can already see from the mini map, like, and from what I've heard, the map is still littered with challenges, and if you like jumps, or if you like speed traps, or if you like drifting, if you like off road, if you like street racing, like it's got just like the last few games, it has a little bit of everything. Well, a lot of everything for you to play.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you have
They
decision
added
paralysis,
more. They added a timed
mode. It will tell you like, hey, you can choose. Like, do you want to just like choose what you want to do next, and like so you don't have to like choose anything. It's like,
Yeah, they're actually
so
very
for
good about
me, like
that.
I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. Like it's nice to have that feature where it's just like, no, here, just do this. And if you have to
Yeah,
drive
that's
there, you
nice.
can auto drive, kind of like auto horse in like Red Dead Redemption, which is like I
Hmm.
let this auto drive. I can look at the scenery while I'm driving or whatever, and I can take back control if I need to like run into a mascot or something. I just feel like they give you a lot of really cool options to just like get right back into a race without
Yeah.
if you don't want to do all the exploring, which is nuts, you should explore. But like if you
Yes.
do just want to get to the next thing, there are features in place that kind of get you there too.
What's really cool as well for me is the community elements already paying off for me. I the first barn I was trying to look for could not find the dirt road to it at all, and so I just went through the link there where it says link. You just press the left arrow on the D-pad, and because you're already in the area of a barn, the first prompt is, "Does anybody know where an old barn is?" And because I
Oh,
put that out there, somebody said, "Follow me," like in a generic reply. And I just looked for his gamer tag because it's right above, it's right above their
yeah.
freaking car, like, and it doesn't go anywhere. So I just, and he just kept spamming hi until I got to him.
That's cool.
So that was really cool. That was that type of stuff I love, and the fact that I have like a laser sound, like a pew pew pew, like it's just an '80s synth laser sound as my horn.
That's amazing.
And somebody else had it too, and we were just doing that back and forth to each other for like 2 minutes after a drag race.
Don't wreck
So that
the
was fun.
bikes.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
love the damage stuff in this game. It's still the most fun. Ugh, look how beautiful that is.
Yeah,
Man, it's
there's
gorgeous.
just something about it being taking place in Japan. Like their road structure is just different over there. The way that they
It
do like
is.
over and underpasses, the way that they do like weird spirally, kind of like exits to like highways and stuff like that. The way that like mountain roads are, all the downhill mountain road racing, which is just it's just Initial D. So if you're a big anime Initial D fan, this game is just that. There are just races called Toge races, which are just about doing downhill drift focused courses. You don't have to drift if you don't want to. It's just like that's just a economical way to get down these courses. And they're
Yeah,
great
they're
and
sharp. The turns
fantastic.
are sharp. Yeah,
It's just like you have Japanese radio stations and pop stations and rock stations, and you have techno stations and jazz stations and rap stations, all the music you could ever want, and it's not all Japanese music. A
yeah,
lot of it is, but there's plenty of like regular American music, if you like the Midnight or, Tame Impala or any of that stuff, they're all here. You got a really good selection of music and stuff like that.
and you still got the
It's just
classical station, which I love. I love the classical.
always,
I don't
always
know
a
why.
classic,
I just love wrecking stuff to like. I just love that idea.
I love the attention to detail, even these little towns. Like it doesn't have to be a big neon city. Like these little towns too. They really just nailed it. Just really feels
It's
like you're
just nice.
actually
Yeah, it does look
sightseeing.
like you're in a different type of map. Even when
Mhm.
you're out and about, like just the topography. That I think that they did a good job, especially when you're like flying through a road that's going through like a bamboo forest or something. You're just like, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, racing down Mount Fuji, like it's all cool, dude. Like
So
it's just
So
dumb.
they
cool.
nailed it again. They did it again. I mean, like
They
if
did
the
it
last couple
again,
were 10 out of
guys. Yeah,
10s, this is definitely
Yeah.
following suit
yeah.
in that 10 out of 10 territory for sure.
And if they did, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I'm missing, even mentioning, and I haven't even
There
gotten
you
to
go.
yet. But if they
There's the
did
mech.
do the same thing, yeah, there's the mech. If they did do the same thing as four, but just in Japan, I don't think it would be getting tens, and it would be not be getting as much praise as it is. But it's like there's those
Yeah.
additional things with the culture and the
Yep.
gameplay customizations and stuff like that that I think are just pushing it over. It's just one of the best developers working today, man, in this
And
genre at
it
least.
helps that each time they somehow make the visuals just a little better, which were already
I don't
like
know how they do it,
incredible and
man.
mind
I
blowing.
really don't.
Yeah.
When there's rain, I'm like, how do they even make it better than last time?
How
It's
do you do
crazy.
it? Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, yeah, this is I love hearing all the positive reviews, of course, mostly from you guys, but also from critics and from players who are playing it. A lot of people playing it on Steam and Xbox
Bestseller on
already, which
Steam.
is
Like Jeff was saying,
awesome.
people
Get
are
to
going out of their ways
Yep.
and paying that money, buying it there, it sounds like, on Steam. But like $120,
Yeah.
people are hungry for this game. People are hungry for games like this. People are willing to pay a
Yep.
lot of money, to play it 4 days early. myself included.
Yep.
I bought it
Yeah,
outright.
same.
So
I mean, obviously same, but like, yeah, it's just the lengths we go to play games that are so competent in their own genre. Like,
Yeah.
this
when
is
you get
just
all
one
the
of the most
accoutrements,
competent games you'll ever play. You know,
I want all the extra cars, and I want all
same.
the expansions because I know I come back to these games, so it's just like this is gotta be one of the most competent video games in the racing genre ever made. Period. Like it's
Nice
so
mix of
and that's
sim, like
only
realistic
because of the
with
pedigree
arcade,
of the developer and what came before it. I think that like
I agree.
just
I
building
agree
on
with
it and
Tim.
building
Like,
on it and building on
it's
it.
like they have those races that are kind of sim-ish, like circuit races and stuff, where you're required to take on a different car that you normally wouldn't speed around town with, and you kind of have to adjust. Okay, all right, so I got to use e-brake here instead of this, or vice versa.
right?
So those are the sim elements of it, but at the same time, when you're zipping around the entire map,
It's
it's
very arcadey.
ridiculously arcadey. It's so fun,
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta tell you, if there was a place that I would purchase it, it would be on Steam. If for no other reason than uh, I would have the option to. Not that I would normally choose this, but I could play on the Steam Deck. If I'm heading to bed, I don't want to sit on my computer anymore. I could play it
I
on the
mean,
Steam Deck.
just to like pop on and just be like, let me just do a
Pretty
drag
sweet.
race real quick or whatever. Yeah,
Pretty sweet.
I'll
Yeah,
pay.
let me just jump off this
And
cliff
then
real
you can
quick.
pop
Yeah.
it on the big boy PC and it'll look like
Yeah,
Yeah, on the
it's
big
gonna
boy.
look like $1 million
And I
bucks.
haven't done this a lot, but Steam Deck does let you can play from your PC on the Steam Deck. Like you can, as long as you leave your PC on,
mirroring
you
or
can
whatever.
actually
Like
play
kind of
it.
like the cloud or whatever, or the not the cloud, the
Portal.
Like a
mirror.
PC,
Yeah,
like the PlayStation
like the
Portal
Portal
does,
does.
things like
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm. I've only tried it once or twice. It did work. Like all of a sudden, the frames were way higher. I just haven't done it a lot. Anyway, dude, I'm thrilled that this is out. This looks so fun. I gotta stop watching the footage of it because it's
That's
making me yearn.
that's how
I can
people
wait for
become
I can wait.
suckers and
I can
buy
wait.
and buy it.
I
Yeah.
know. I can wait. Hey, I just noticed that this is out this week. It was already out on PC, but it's on Switch. I just figured I'd highlight it real quick because I saw it pop up on my YouTube feed. It's this game that's been on PC. It's now on Switch. It's called Quartet. I know Dan's not here, but this looks like a Dan and/or Kyle game for sure. It's an RPG game. Let me see if I can find the description of it real quick. Quartet. There we go. There we go. It's only $20, by the way, so it's not very expensive. But it is a turn-based JRPG. It's a pretty linear type of a game too. It's not doing any kind of roguelike trickery. It's not a Souls-like. It's just this good old-fashioned JRPG with some clear nods to the
But
Super
it has
Nintendo
to be mixed with
phase.
something. It's a modern game.
Nope, just indie JRPG, man. So, but it looks like a lot of fun. People seem to love it. It's even got the little card game, so it's very Final Fantasy coded, for sure. But yeah, I thought that one looked pretty good.
It looks cool.
Love Quartet. Yeah. And it's out now. All right, a couple other things of note from this week. Out in early access now is Subnautica 2. It is also on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, I forget which level of it you have to have.
600K concurrent players at its peak.
That's right.
People
Across
celebrate
all
250.
platforms.
Yeah, people celebrate 250,000. Like
I know.
like that's monumental. This tripled that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
so they
love
announced,
that first one, man. It's crazy.
They announced within the first few hours that they had 1 million copies sold, and a few hours later they had to update it to 2 million.
2
So
million,
12 hours in, they had 2 million copies sold.
That's insane.
I believe that actually means sales. I don't think that's just Game Pass players. I think they're talking about sales there. The Steam concurrent players is over 400,000, and when they added it, they put out a press release that said it was over, like Kyle said, over 600,000 across all platforms. So that means that a majority of the players aren't even on Xbox playing this on Game Pass. Like people are just buying it elsewhere, which is crazy. So
yeah, my brother loved this one. This is another like 300, 400 hour game for him where he's just like, it's just so peaceful, and I just love spending time
and
in
at times claustrophobic. Maybe it looks a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
Yeah, when you go out to explore. Yep.
Like I feel anxious just watching like anything underwater. I'm like, ugh.
My son's actually playing it right now. Him and his friend, and actually two of my sons. One of them's more into it than the other, but they've both been playing it co-op with 3 or 4 of them. Building their little underwater fort and exploring, and I can hear them barking out orders to each other as they go from place to place. So they're having fun. I asked him tonight during dinner. I was like, "What's the difference?" And he said it's just basically a bunch of better stuff, new equipment, and things are more streamlined. But it's also early access, so they're working out a few issues here and there. But I think for the most part, people are really enjoying it.
I found it.
So,
My brother's played 140 hours of it. And
of
that's,
two
I mean, it's a never ending game. You can just keep going.
of Subnautica 2. Oh,
The first one, I don't even think he beat it. He just kept going back to do whatever. Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, he hasn't gotten the second.
Let's
I don't
say.
even think he knows that it's out yet. He plays old stuff all day.
Sounds like your brother's a good man. I like
Yeah.
that. Thanks.
He's probably
He's
He's
still on
not in the
Fallout
comment
76.
section bad mouthing mixtape, that's for sure.
I told him about
He's like,
Forza,
"What's
and he's like, okay, I'm going to have to get that because I loved 5.
Yeah.
And I don't even like racing games. And I'm like, I don't even like racing games that much either. But if they're good, I'm going to spend, like whatever, 100 hours on them.
By the way, speaking of Subnautica 2, I did see that it is on Steam alone, just on Steam. It is in the top 30 all time for concurrent player count in
Good
Steam
Lord.
history. So like we talk about that, like when
Crazy.
games hit these certain waves. I don't know. A game like this being in the top 30 ever for concurrent players is wild. So
An uncompleted game. Like everyone.
It's
Yeah,
early
literally
access.
just dropped
to me.
early access just now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy. All right. Also out, and I've been playing this a little bit myself, is Call of the Elder Gods. This is a
The visuals are so cool.
puzzle walking simulator, narrative adventure, whatever you want to call it. I'm with you, Jeff. The visuals in this game are really good. I'm already really hooked. I'm into chapter 2. I'm not sure how many chapters there are. So I played it for about an hour-ish, maybe. It picks up several years after the end of the first game, and it even asks you when you start, did you play Call of the Sea? And it gives you a choice at a certain point about which decision you made. And I actually remember when I played Call of the Sea, I'm pretty sure I went back and tried both decisions just to see the endings.
Yeah, I get
But
that.
there's a key choice at the end with what happens to a character. Now, ultimately where characters pick up on this, it doesn't really matter. It just gives you different context for what the decision was. Anyway, it's hard to say without
Yeah.
spoiling it. The first one is definitely worth
Yeah.
people's time. So I think people should go back and play that one. But
I
yeah,
agree.
this one's a lot of fun. I'm already really digging the puzzles. It's a little bit, if you like stuff like blueprints, then you would dig puzzles like this. It doesn't really hold your hand to say, here's where to go to look. You kind of have to explore and just interact with everything. These little dots will appear over things you can interact with. Just interact with everything, and you'll eventually find what you need. And then just put things in order based on what's in your notes. A little bit of Indiana Jones, a little bit of blueprints, but
The footage is so like wild, like you have no idea where this game's going to go next, basically, type of thing.
yeah.
And that's how kind of Call of the Sea was. Call of the Sea like made it seem like, oh, I'm on an island and I'm solving puzzles, and then there's like way more story and lore
And I'm
to
British.
it, and you're
and
like,
it's the 1930s.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did beat the first one, yeah, and it took a lot of
Mhm.
trial and error for sure, more than I was patient with. I think I had to look up some walkthroughs.
There was a puzzle or two
for
towards
some of
the
them.
end that I was really annoyed to go. I had to rerun a couple of routes. I remember doing the same path like 3 or 4 times. Like, oh, this is annoying. So there were a couple of
Yeah.
times where I thought maybe mechanically it could have been a little more streamlined, but it wasn't enough for me to knock the game. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, me too.
this
And
is-
you know what? Some
this is
people do
wonderful.
love that blueprints type of. I think blueprints is, from what I've heard, just crazy difficult compared to this. But
A lot of game of the
But
year.
I've heard it's
From a lot of
involved.
small, from a lot of small places. A lot of people gave it game of the year last year. Blueprints.
Like, a lot of people saying like if you just let yourself pay attention, like because a lot of times I'll play a game like that. I'm like, this is a walking simulator. Don't make me think. And that game makes you think. Anyway, it's very much like an escape room style thing where you can't miss anything or you might not get out. You know.
wow. Okay,
Um,
that's intense.
I know.
Stressed me
it
out.
sounds fun though.
Yeah.
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 I've started it twice because it was on Game Pass. It might still be on Game Pass, but I have it on the Switch too. And I started it on my trip, and I do want to keep playing it. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
There's elements of this that sometimes give me that little bit of a vibe where I don't really know what I'm looking for. I'm just going to read every book and every little letter that it lets me interact with, or look at certain pictures and just see what they say. And so anyway, I've enjoyed it.
And if you're
so
lucky,
far. I like
sometimes
that.
things are highlighted so you can kind of like, okay, that means something to
Makes-
the solution. Great. Thank you. Good Lord. And also what hooks me on this type of game specifically is the story and the voice acting and how freaking insanely well it's written. And I got to give them props for that. They didn't even need to go that far. Like
That's
it's
right.
just like you could have made just a good puzzle solution, whatever puzzle game that's like walking sim ish, and
Yeah, it's not
it
an
would have been
action
fine with
game.
me. But yeah, but like the fact that they like hired like extremely good voice actors. I think Yuri is in this
Really
dude.
good
The
voice.
Yuri, whatever his name is, the Spider Man, Peter Parker in the Insomniac games.
Oh
I think
yeah,
he voices somebody
yeah.
in this too.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I also think if you like the vibes of think like Indiana Jones, it's set in that World War II era with outfits and settings and cars and all that stuff, just minus the action. Like you're not going to be shooting bad guys or stealthing around bad guys necessarily. You're just trying to, but you're looking for artifacts. You're trying to solve puzzles. You're trying to piece together things based on what's in a journal. So it has a little bit of an indie vibe too, if you guys like
Yeah,
that.
pretty much.
So yeah, Call of the Elder Gods out now. Really enjoying it. Here's one
Perfect
that
for
I
Game
have no
Pass
plans.
people. Honestly, like I mean, I have no regrets about keeping my Game Pass sub, especially since they've
Me
lowered the
too.
price and everything. But
They lowered the
this year
price. Yeah.
specifically, he had Mixtape
Yeah.
replaced, like Planet of Lana
Yeah.
2, and then now Call of the Elder Gods, and of course Forza. There's a perk to getting it early, but that's whatever. I
Yeah.
still paid like a chump.
And there's more crazy stuff, like you mentioned, Beast of Reincarnation. There's bigger games coming to Game Pass this year too.
Yeah,
that are definitely
Gears of War E-Day is like they're trying to keep a secret, but I think it's coming in
Yep.
September. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also out this week, I think getting a little less love than the last few games we've talked about is Directive 8020, and I know that the Supermassive team and their Dark Pictures anthology, I think it's called.
Yeah,
I think they've had more misses than hits just in terms of the reactions to these games.
I'd like to
That
think
doesn't
it's a
mean they're not worth
separate
your time.
B team.
I do too.
Is it?
In my head, maybe that's even true. I don't know for sure, but in my head, I like to keep that like, the Dark Pictures guys are definitely like the B team.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's got to be. I mean, because you play the Quarry and it's so
Quarry 2 or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and it's just so night and day with quality and engagement, like how engaged the player gets immediately, and how the gameplay feels. And then you play these, and you're like, why is it janky? And why do I
it's
hate
just funny
these
because
people?
like the Quarry something. Maybe we all don't even like games like that, but all of us played and loved. And like again, this is coming out. You would think that all of us would be all in on this, and all of us are like, no, I smell the poop from here. Like it's so weird that like
it's true.
That we're all on the same page with this developer. It seems like.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer because I'd be curious about a narrative horror game set in space. Like I like a sci-fi game, and I don't mind horror.
Very,
it's
storytelling focus.
It's literally it's the thing in space.
Like, some people are shape-shifting or they're infected and now they're an alien, and like you don't trust anybody, and I'm sure you're gonna have to do a blood test at some point. Like it's the thing. I love that idea, and I love the idea of it being in space. If you want to inject some Event Horizon, there's a portal to hell or something going on too. Great. I don't like cosmic horror is like very much my jam. So the fact that I like have never cared about this is wild to me. It's just crazy to me. Like, because I want this to be good. I just the second I hear, and I know they dropped the Dark Picture like moniker because I think people have been like, that's not really doing us any favors.
Yeah.
People still knew.
They had like one, to me at least, of the games I played. They had like one.
It's right there, Dark Pictures game.
It's our Dark Pictures game. Okay, there it is.
It's just in the we could smell the.
They just removed the anthology part because they know that anthology is a dirty word for consumers right now. I guess with this franchise.
Yeah. So it's not getting the best of reviews, but it's also not getting like mind's eye levels of hate. It's more of just hate.
Oh God, no. What is,
more like
Tim,
average.
There's corporate espionage going on with Mind's Eye. Don't slight that.
You're right. My fault.
Who put a great game
that was
out.
no one else's fault. The game was great.
It was no one else's fault. Yep. Perfect. Actually, perfect.
But yeah, no, this is getting somewhere in the above average range if you were to kind of put it on a scale. So it's not certainly not.
It's probably someone swimming in sevens, right? Yeah, it's
absolutely someone swimming.
It's gotta be.
Someone out there loves aliens enough where they're like, I like that, and it could be me. I could play that. I won't. I could play this game at some point and be like, I actually really like what's going on here. I mean, I'm not going to. We're never going to know, but it's possible that person's out there.
Version of
I'm
Kyle
not sure I'll try this.
Some other universe.
I'm not sure I'll try this next one either. But if like for example, if a group of you guys wanted to play it, I would definitely try this next one. It's called Far Far West,
I've
and
seen
it
people
kind
playing
of
this
has a
online.
yeah, it kind of has like a Borderlands feel to it, where it's up to 4 player co-op. You're just running through, running and gunning, destroying things, looting things, running these missions. It just looks like wild, kind of Wild West action, with crazy
Hmm.
weapons, crazy powers, and I'm sure it's silly. I don't think there's a lot of like sim type stuff to it. It looks like maybe you upgrade your town a little bit. For the most part, you're just upgrading your character, upgrading your weapons, little Borderlands style, and then going out on missions with your friends. It does look like fun, and the reviews on
It
it
does.
are overwhelmingly positive on Steam, 97% positive. So people who are playing
Wow.
it and co-oping together seem to be absolutely loving it. A lot of people comparing it to their time with Borderlands 2, where you just run out with your friends and just demolish things. So
You mean not
That was the
Borderlands
fun
4?
part.
Why not?
I I
Why
specifically
not
said
like
Borderlands
Borderlands
2.
4, Tim?
I said what I said. I spoke the words that I spoke. Um, but yeah, so I know it looks kind of fun. It's only in early access right now too. So um, anyway, so that is out. Also out now, kind of with a similar theme. This is a little more train focused, very different gameplay. This game's called Steel Artery Train City Builder, and it is out now. You can try the demo, and I think the demo's out in some places too. Um,
Those
but this
goblins.
is described as uh, you build a living city on rails in the steampunk fantasy train city builder. Manage
Snowpiercer.
manage colonies with thousands of autonomous citizens. Balance their needs. Manage the
It's
economy.
Snowpiercer.
Create.
That's
It's
amazing.
it's a happy Snowpiercer, a much happier Snowpiercer.
Oh,
A
it's a
happy
happy one. I'm
Snowpiercer.
out. I'm out
It's a
then.
Gotcha.
happier one.
Sorry.
Yeah, these little
I need
Yeah.
mine
orcs
with
that come
I
help
need
you.
mine with weird Tilda Swinton and off-putting vibes. That's what I need my
Yeah.
Snowpiercer.
Very off-putting vibes.
And maybe some
For sure.
cannibalism too. I don't know. Maybe secret
Maybe
cannibalism.
just
Light
sprinkle it
to
in.
heavy cannibalism.
Just sprinkle it. I think this one looks like fun. I like games like
It
this
does look
sometimes,
cool.
and it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's only it's $15 full price, a couple bucks off right now for its launch
Kind
sale.
of like Spiritfarer a little bit, where you're like building
A
a
little Spirit for more
moving.
involved,
Yeah.
certainly more
Yeah.
involved.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
That's a
like
Yeah, the
great
the I
game.
like the
side-scrolling kind of
backgrounds.
area building did give me Spirit Fair vibes too, where you're kind of picking where to put things on this side view of your
If
boat. In this
Spiritfarer
case,
came
it's a
today,
train.
it'd be called Woke. So don't worry.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it came out at the right time.
so
Game
true.
makes you game makes you feel about these animals. It's pretty dumb.
Don't make me feel things.
I don't want to feel
All right.
anything about nothing.
I don't want to feel nothing about nothing.
I don't want to feel.
Well, let's get back onto the walking simulator train here. No train though in this one. This is called the Caribou Trail. So this one, even though it's set during a war, I believe it's World War One. Let me just clarify that.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
it's a World War
boring
One
one. Oh,
story.
Helmets look worse.
just
But
than
kidding.
World War One.
your goal is not to kill, but to survive. In the still trenches, 3 soldiers learn the harsh truth of war, reckless missions, digging trenches, collecting dog tags, and ghostly whispers in the dark. Home before the leaves fall, they thought. And so basically, it's just kind of. I don't think you do any. There's elements of the trailer that look actiony. I don't think there's much in terms of action here. I think it's mostly narrative, adventure type stuff. But it looks like there's action-packed moments, even though you're not running and gunning in a game like this. So,
I love this.
Sounds like
I think this is
Dunkirk.
great. Yeah, it seems
well,
like
Dunkirk,
like
little
like maybe like a
1918,
linear
right?
experience with light gameplay mechanics. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fair. What is this called again?
It's called the Caribou
Car-
Trail.
Okay, thank you.
And so it's out on PC now. It'll come to PS5 in July.
Only
Oh,
11
cool.
bucks right now.
What?
Very
Yeah,
very
That's wild.
pretty good
Wish
deal if
listing
you have
that.
Steam.
I like this.
Or
Telling like a haunting, grounded,
Yeah.
like war story. It's seems pretty cool.
all right, well, let's check out this next game called Blades of Fire. You guys heard of Blades of Fire? It's been out for a little while.
No,
just
but I
not
love
in
the
Steam,
title
though.
already. I love it.
I was gonna say it sounds like
Blades of
the
Fire.
title ran through an AI generated.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Blades of Fire.
But this is a dark fantasy adventure where forging steel shapes combat, progression, and fate. So apparently there's elements of you being a blacksmith, but as reviewers call it, you're an angry blacksmith who also kills everything. So yes, you forge weapons, but also yes, you run around in like third person action adventure style, using those weapons that you make. So I don't know if it's as far as to say there's a full sim thing, but it did show him actually like the gameplay of you hammering out a sword on an anvil. So you're doing some blacksmithing while also doing this, as you
This is
can see
cool.
in the video. So it's been out for a while on Epic only. A lot of gamers were pretty upset because they're like, "Who the flip uses Epic as their primary platform? Like, put this on Steam, put this on consoles, you know." So, so it was an exclusive for a little while, but now it's on Steam, and it's got pretty positive reviews. It's right around the 80% positive range. People seem to be liking it. There's a demo as well if you want to try it. So, full price is $40. It's currently on sale for 30.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Blades of Fire is out now. All right, moving on to this is one I played the demo for. It's called Hotel Architect. Kind of reminds me of a lot of these little management, town builder, city builder, business
Fable,
builder
yes.
Yeah,
games.
2 point whatever, 2 point hotel basically.
Yeah, the 2 point games. It's very silly. It's very lighthearted. It literally is what it sounds like. You're making a hotel, but of course you can add on to it. I think you can even build like a casino as part of the hotel. Like it gives you ability to really amp up the business side of it. You have high profile guests that come in. You got to make them happy. Whatever. It's what you would expect in a hotel sim, very lighthearted hotel sim like this. So yeah, pretty fun, and it's available now. So Hotel Architect is out. Okay, here's another one that I am thinking I'm gonna grab. It looks way too fun, and it's been in early access for a while now. The 1.0 is out. This is called Space Haven. You guys heard of this one yet?
Love the art style though.
Me too.
Yeah, the art style is super cool. It's on a pretty good sale right now. It's normally $22.50 full price, and right now it's down to $13.50. It's 40% off.
Like on a colony ship or something.
Yeah, so this is a colony sim, base building, survival strategy. So you embark on a space voyage with your ragtag crew of civilians in search of a new home, build spaceships tile by tile, create optimal gas conditions, manage the needs and moods of the crew, encounter other spacefaring groups, and explore the universe in a
Aliens.
spaceship colony simulation. Looks super fun. I love the visuals on this thing.
I love
So,
the visuals. Yeah.
yeah, very, very cool. So there is also, oh, there's not anymore. There used to be a demo for this, but anyway, it is in 1.0 now, and it is on sale. This is absolutely one I'm going to
badass.
spend way too much time on. So
Space Haven.
there you go. Space Haven. Okay, moving on to this game looks wild. If you're a PS1 horror game fan, this might be up your alley. This game's called Vultures, Scavengers of Death. I mean, you can tell from the visuals already. It's very PS1 coded, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is in, dude. This whole aesthetic is so back, man.
It is. Yeah.
Okay,
All
but the
these people,
gameplay
like,
style
longing for
is not what you would
PS1 days.
expect. The gameplay is actually a tactical turn-based survival horror game.
Okay.
So it's actually
Okay.
turn-based tactics. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan.
So, but yeah, the idea, of course, is that you're exploring, scavenging, trying to survive. But the combat and you upgrade. It looks like it's got some RPG elements to it as well. But it's all turn-based. So it's a different approach to this.
I love that people are nostalgic for this era. I am too, but objectively, the worst looking era of video games to ever exist.
Pretty ugly.
Just one of
For
the
real.
ugliest. Not that this game is ugly. I think this game is recapturing what that time used to be, which was a very ugly
Yes.
time for video games. I mean, do y'all remember what like Cloud looks like in Final Fantasy VII? Like
Yes.
like triangles on
Yes.
skirkles, as his arms and hands and stuff. Like it's just an ugly era. But boy, I love that we like have a longing for it, or that us, some of us do. It is fun.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So yeah, that is available now. This next one, this actually takes me back to some mid 2000s TV viewing. This is Battlestar Galactica: Scattered Hopes.
Ooh,
I heard amazing things about this one.
really?
So
Yeah.
this game is
It's just not my kind of game usually.
It's a strategy RTS roguelite, story rich. Those are the descriptions of it.
That's a lot.
Steam thinks I'll like it because I played several hours of FTL. Remember Faster Than Light? That game
Oh
that
yeah,
came out a
FTL's
while
fun.
back? So there's a lot of management elements to this. The art style is pretty unique. I kind of like the art style in this. and I do love the Battlestar universe. It's been so long since I've
Same.
experienced it, though. I haven't watched that show in ages. But the whole idea of trying to figure out who's a Cylon and all that stuff, that was always kind of a fun part of the
Dude,
TV show.
I
But
watched that show for the very first time like 8 years ago. It was since I moved out
okay,
Yeah.
here into Colorado, and I'd never seen it before. And it was one of my favorite TV experiences I've ever. And like I knew all because like you hear it through like the grapevine, like all the twists and turns like that. Still, everything
yes,
shocked me to my core. All the reveals, it just completely
yeah.
shocked me to my core.
So say we all. So
So
say
say
we
we
all.
all.
Yep, yep. I'm curious about this one. Don't know if I'll buy, but there is a demo now that I'm looking at the listing on Steam.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe I'll try it out and see if it's any good. But anyway, it's PC only at the moment, I think. All right, two more quick games that are out this week that I thought were worth highlighting. Outbound. So Outbound is a um, cozy exploration base building co-op game. Basically, you're exploring a colorful world and building your own cozy home on wheels. You craft workstations, source energy from the sun, wind, or water, upgrade and customize your vehicle, which is kind of this travel van. Grow crops, live sustainably. Basically, it's a hippie sim. Is what it sounds like to me.
It's a van living
Yes.
simulator. All right.
Basically, um, but yeah, apparently it's pretty fun for co-op players.
I hear
And,
good things about this one. Yeah.
yeah, Outbound. It's got a very basic art style. It's not going to work for everybody. I totally get that, but it probably allows the game to do other things with its visuals because the characters and environments are so simple. But there you go. Outbound is out now. And last but not least, I thought this game looked really cool. This is called Clockwork Ambrosia. Um, this,
Ooh.
but what you do is you design your own arsenal, a steampunk Metroidvania in the vein of a run and gun. And you're an airship pilot who must battle all these deadly robots. You can experiment with over 100 rule-based weapon mods and armors. And so you kind of are crafting your own build, I guess, of a gun and armor in this. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure exactly how those work or how they feel different in a game that looks kind of old school, but I like this kind of side-scrolling platforming shooter vibe.
I do
So I'm
too,
curious
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about this
I
one.
do too.
Yeah. So I thought the
Cool.
visuals
I think
alone were worth
That looks
highlighting.
yeah,
cool.
I think the art's really cool. A lot of really cool
Yeah.
art today. You're always picking some good
Yeah.
treasures every week, man. There's always some good stuff.
Gotta find the good ones because
Yeah,
everyone's
you
gonna
gotta
play
dig.
Forza, but sometimes you gotta dig a little deeper. And you can't just look at the recent releases on Steam. You have to dig a little deeper into like a full list of releases, and that's where you find the gems,
Yeah.
usually. Oh, and not just there, but sometimes even like even on Wikipedia, which, as Michael Scott said, you can always trust it because anyone can write anything about any topic.
Yeah.
So you know
So
you always get the
trustworthy.
best information. But anyway, so yeah, lots to
Oh,
play,
man.
plenty to test out, plenty for every genre, I think, too, as well. Although, I gotta tell you, if you are a car enthusiast at all, if you like driving even a little bit, you are absolutely spoiled this week with Forza Horizon 6, and I can't wait to play it as well. So, a lot of good stuff out this week. Hey, speaking of driving, one of the pieces of news that was out this week is that, I don't know if you guys remember this game. I thought it could be like a Lego Forza game, this 2K Lego
I remember
2K
this.
Drive.
Yeah.
It's not that old. It only came out in 2021, I think. Yeah,
Dang,
I
it's
think
been
so.
that long. Okay. Wow.
I think so, but it's going offline. And if you want to play this, if
Oh.
you want to purchase it, you have to purchase it. I think before the end of this week. Oh man, you got to purchase it in the next couple days. So if you're listening to this after May 19th, it's going to no longer be available to purchase. And if you do own it, the servers are shutting down in a year, so you have 1 year for the online elements of it. And I
Wow.
don't think the entire game is online based, but I think a lot of the fun stuff, multiplayer stuff, sharing of builds, things like that, all
Yeah.
that server based stuff is going to go offline. Kind of think of like when the first Mario Maker game went offline, you could technically still build levels in that because they were really trying to get everyone to go to the second one. But there was no more sharing. There was hardly any pre-built stages, so it's only whatever you build. So it kind of became, I don't know, way less of a fun experience when it went offline. I think this is probably going to be the same way, unfortunately. But you've got another year if any of you watching this are interested in Lego 2K Drive. But it's going offline.
R.I.P.
Okay. R.I.P. Lego 2K Drive. We already talked about how Subnautica is just absolutely crushing it when it comes to sales with over 2 million copies. That's amazing in 12 hours. And I assume once you factor in the Game Pass as well, however they calculate what sales would be with that, it's even higher. So, yeah, pretty impressive by that team. Speaking of impressive, Capcom has sold more games in their last 12 months than any other 12-month span in its history. This has been the best 12-month
And
span
it's
for
not over
Capcom.
I
yet.
believe
They
it.
still have
I
another
believe
game
it.
left.
So they just closed out their business year. This was their most successful 12-month
Oh, for
business
this
year
last fiscal
ever.
year, I gotcha.
Yep, their fiscal year just ended, I think, at the end of March, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been a little bit into April, but it was before Pragmata because they said their next business year will include titles like Pragmata, Onimusha Way of the Sword,
I
Mega Man
gotcha.
Dual Overdrive.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're going to do
Wow.
okay for the next
They'll be
business year
fine.
as well.
Yeah.
Because
So this
Pragmata
is
already
their
sold
Monster
2
Hunter.
million
This is their
for being
Monster
an
Hunter money.
Pragmata was a big question mark. Like there was no reason for anyone to trust that that would do well or like be a good game or anything. There was a big question mark on that IP, of course. I think Onimusha is going to sell incredibly well. So, and if they can squeeze in
So
some other big game that we don't know about yet, whether it's a Street Fighter game that gets announced near the movie release, or who knows, man, who knows what's going to happen with Capcom? They tend to have some aces up their sleeve that we don't know about. But anyway, in total, they sold just under 60 million games during the last business year, which was up from just under 52 million. So an 8 million sales increase, not in amounts, that's units sold. Most notably, of course, was Resident Evil Requiem, which sold nearly 7 million units in its first like 5 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. So that's insane. But there you go. Capcom is crushing it. We knew this already. This isn't a surprise, but it's just kind of cool to see it happening. All right. Saros, not quite the start that they were hoping for in terms of overall sales, it sounds like. I don't know if you
yeah,
guys have read up on this at all.
yeah, I've been
No, I
following this
haven't.
pretty closely because I
Wow.
I know Returnal sold very poorly, and this is selling worse than that apparently. So
Right.
so that's two maybe non-profit games from this studio now in a row, which is always troublesome in this climate. So
It is. I do want to emphasize that these current reports, they seem to be legitimate, number one, but they have legitimacy, I guess I should say. They seem to have some good data supporting them. But they are technically unconfirmed reports. These are technically rumors because it's not like Sony's put out sales numbers or Housemarque's put out
yeah,
sales numbers.
grain of
They
salt.
have not. But this is a Norwegian firm called Analytics, and they do a lot of estimates, and I guess they're pretty well known and well regarded in this space. Anyway, they think that in the 2 weeks since released, they are guessing that it's now surpassed 300,000 copies sold, earning more than 22 million for Sony. And based on their development budget and development time, and they do all these different factors to estimate the budget. They think the budget was probably around $76 million. So they're looking
Mhm.
at a struggle to break even situation right now for Saros, which
Damn.
is a bummer.
There
Which is a
was
bummer.
a pretty aggressive campaign to hate this game online. Well, it's woke, it's
Oh,
this, it's
of course
that.
there was.
Brown
Oh,
guy
that's
is
stupid.
the main character. It's about this, it's about that. So like there was a lot of negative
Oh, a lot of
noise
sadly
sadly around this one. Yeah, a
out
lot of
online.
dummies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Because the story, I don't want to get too much
Also,
into the
you know
spoilers,
what?
but
Everyone out there who
it was
thinks that, how dare you? Because what's his name? Raul? Is that
Raul.
how you
He's
say
the
his name?
best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's also
amazing.
he's also gaming royalty, and you're about to see a lot
He's
more of him
gaming
in a lot
royalty.
of
He's a
things,
great
so you might as
actor.
well
He's
just
been
get
in some
over it.
great show. You guys are idiots. You guys are dumb.
Yeah. Very funny on and off screen.
Yeah,
Seems like
he's
a
he's a
good
good
dude.
personality. He's a good interview, and every time he's on an interview, I'll watch a clip of him talking because I like his personality. Anyway,
If
people
he
are
doesn't move you watching any of Mike Flanagan's stuff, you have no
yeah,
soul. So,
Pretty
agreed.
much confirmed.
yeah, confirmed. Yeah.
Totally
So
agree.
there was a little bit of a. I don't know, to be fair, how much stuff like that impacts sales. Maybe it's minimal, but it is a factor. I just don't know how big of a factor
And people start trying to
impacts
look
sales.
for
So.
reasons too. If something doesn't do well, they start to kind of
Yeah,
hunt
yeah,
for
You see the same
what
thing kind of
happened.
happening with like the Odyssey right now, the movie The Odyssey. Like there's a lot of pushback on stuff right now.
The Odyssey stuff is so freaking stupid too.
But it's usually race based and stuff like that.
It
It's
is,
very
yeah,
comes
and
from a
which is
very
what makes it dumb. I'm
comes
like,
from a
oh
very
yeah, that totally real story, The Odyssey, needs all white people in it.
yeah. I don't mean to break it to you, but Helena Troy, not real, a real person. It's kind of tangentially reflective of a real person, but not real. Not a documented
Yeah.
real
How about
human
everyone
being.
just wait until you see the movie, because Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
don't know if you guys knew this, makes pretty good
Yeah,
movies.
Pretty
So let's
great,
just wait and
yeah. And
see.
I don't know if
for
you know
me, ten
anything
times
about
out
the
of 10
Odyssey,
delivers
but
every
it's
time. It's
fantasy.
crazy.
There's cyclopses in it and sirens and stuff. It's not real, everybody. So,
Now, if it comes
but
out
yeah,
and it's bad and they're just lecturing
yeah,
us about modern politics, okay, fair. That's a really
yeah.
bad
I 1,000%
Nolan
don't
movie.
think that that's what's
That would
happening.
be
But
weird if they did that. Actually, it'd be like,
That would
yeah,
be really odd.
they're
yeah, it'd be super
this
weird.
is
Really odd.
supposed to be super ancient
Uh,
Rome and or whatever, and
We'll find
it's
out.
not going to be about.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, this story this all this happened 2,000 years before written language. So like who
Yeah.
knows? Who
It's
knows
true. It's
I
folklore,
will
what
say
right?
the
Like
this,
language
and
it
I'm curious
was,
what you
was.
guys
yeah.
think. I think it's actually funny because it would just be interesting to see how it plays out. Do you think Elliot Page is going to play Achilles? Is that confirmed?
Well, I don't know. I
I
don't know if it's
don't know.
confirmed. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Because Achilles being like 5'1" and really skinny is really hilarious to me. Like I think that's funny.
Well, to be fair, in that part of the story, this is Achilles' specter, so it would be a withered, broken
Okay,
down
then that
version
would
of in
work then.
hell. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if they do play Achilles, then it would make sense to me because again, the context of that story in that moment is they're in hell, and that is like
See?
the
This
tortured
is why I
version
need
of
you
Achilles.
around, Kyle.
Read a book. I don't know. Yeah, you can read a book, everybody. It's literally the most famous book ever. So
It
like
is.
go
It's
read it. I
true.
don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I was
It's been
forced
out
to
for a
read
little
it in
while.
eighth grade. Probably you were too.
It's
So
been
it's
out for a
just
minute. People have it's
yeah, it's
available.
just funny to me
It's
that people
available.
are just like this and that. But Saros feels like there was a little bit of that to kind of wrap it back up on topic. But
Yeah, it could
again, I
for
really
sure
don't
could
know
be.
how much loud voices impact things in real life. Maybe they probably do
True.
in some shape or form, but I don't know how much the needle moves there. It's hard to tell.
I'm guessing it's more about and I could be wrong. It could be about more cultural issues and controversy or whatever else that people are drumming up. But I have a feeling it's probably more about the barrier of entry that Returnal created for this kind of experience and what people are expecting, and then what the reviews were and the reports were. Hey, this is a very difficult game, and that is going to be
Yeah, I do think
unfortunately
that there was
off-putting to a lot of people.
some mismarketing. I think that there was a this game is easy narrative that got attached to it, and then when the game came out, and
Yeah,
then
I bought into
immediately
that
people were
too.
like, "This game's still hard." People are like, "Uh-oh," I think
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think stuff like that would move the needle way more in terms of sales than a couple of angry, bigoted people online. But I
I
have to agree
wonder
with
if
you
it
on
had
that
hit
one.
Steam, like Sony's now pulled back, like we're not doing Steam anymore. We don't like PC games. Like, okay.
I
I
think Steam
wonder
would have helped
if a
them
Steam
on this one.
release
This is
would
Returnal was
have.
a pretty big PC game. People really liked it on PC. It
That's
ran really
true.
well.
That's
It
true.
looked
They
really
did.
good. Hardcore gamers seem to exist on PC. I know it's a like loaded term. Hardcore,
Yeah,
the
it's true.
Dans of the world. They live on PC for the most part. So I think that this game would have benefited greatly from
And maybe
being
they'll change their
multi-platform.
mind and at some point still launch it on PC. But I think releasing it
Helldivers is doing
day
pretty
and
good.
date.
Like
Helldivers is
let
doing
things
great.
be on everything when it's games like that.
Agreed.
Arcadey games. I don't think Saros is going to be a big tentpole IP for Sony. So I think they should probably treat it
No.
like it's not that. But
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, I put in a reservation for this Steam controller, and this was the announcement trailer for it from late last year. And this is announced alongside the Steam Machine and the Steam Frame VR headset. And this was going to be the new controller. Now, this is not the first time Steam released a controller. They've released controllers before with mixed results at best. This one is different. I think it's getting much more positive reviews. Of course, it's also compatible with your Steam Deck. So it shows people like playing the Steam Deck on the go, like on a little propped up thing using a real controller, which is great. It's got, and this trailer kind of shows off all the features. It's apparently a pretty uh, decent controller. And the battery life is good. It's got this magnetic snap thing where you can plug it in to your PC to both charge but also direct connect, or you can just unplug it and it will wirelessly connect. So it's got like some nice features that you would want from a modern controller, I suppose you could say. Um, So I put in not a pre-order, but a reservation for it because it launched earlier this month. The Steam Machine and Steam Frame VR are both coming later this year, but there's been so many shortages on tech across the board in our world that those are not hitting as soon as they'd like. But the controller doesn't require a lot of the pieces that are experiencing shortages right now. So they went ahead and launched that, and it's $100. So not crazy overpriced, but also not like a bargain, not a bargain bin controller
It's not
either.
far off
So it's
from what other consoles cost. Yeah,
yeah,
console
they're usually
controllers.
like 80 at least, right, for a
Yeah,
standard controller.
Switch 2 I think is in the
So
hundreds. I think if you get
and it will
you
be
know
the primary controller that people will want with a Steam Machine PC when those launch. But scalpers were on this one right away. Like most people's experience was that they couldn't even get through to try to purchase it because it was already sold out, and we all have experienced that feeling when a new piece of hardware
for a
launches. This was
controller
different though
though.
because it was for a
I don't know,
controller.
man.
I know,
I feel like I'd feel more mad over it. Like,
I
really? Like,
Yeah.
know.
we're doing this over controllers? Like, this is
But
crazy.
immediately listings for the controller for 2, 3, $400 popped up on eBay like right away because scalpers were all over this one. So Valve decided to go back to their Steam Deck strategy, which I think worked for them, where it's like, hey, we have a
Lottery
reservation queue. We're
reservation
limiting
queue.
it to
Excuse me.
one per user. You have to have a good standing on Steam and must have made a purchase before April 27th, 2026. So you can't just create a bunch of fake Steam accounts and reserve a spot. You'll have a 72-hour
Yeah.
window, so you can take your time once your number gets called. It was very similar with the Steam Deck when it was like, I want to get one, and then you just wait your turn to complete that purchase. So I think that's good. They should have launched it with that in the first place, but maybe they didn't even expect
I
this
don't think they
level of
probably thought they
I don't
had
think they
to. They're
did.
like, this is just
scalping.
this is
Yeah.
just a controller. Like, why would we have to do
Yeah,
that? And
they
then
probably were like us, like for a controller, like what?
yeah,
Exactly.
people
But
ruin everything.
yeah, yeah. All right. Also, Sega. I don't know if you guys remember, but they announced a super game several years ago. This was in May of 2021. This is 5 years ago now
I
that
don't.
they announced.
I saw Kyle Bossman talk about this, and I don't remember this announcement at all.
So I remember them talking about it, but I also remember it sounds almost like their Smash Brothers because they talked about how it was going to include multi span multiple AAA titles that cross over their comprehensive range of technologies and go beyond. Blah blah blah. I was like, this sounds like some kind of live service. Uh, let's include all of our mascots from all of our games. Like I don't know. I just
Okay.
thought it might just include tons of IP. Maybe not Smash Brothers, and maybe not a kart racer. Maybe something more complex or different or new than any of those things. But I don't know. Was it going to be like the Disney Dreamland whatever game? You know what I'm talking about, where
Or
you
maybe you
run
like
around and
it's
talk to
Sega, so
everybody?
maybe it's like a mix between like Jet Set Radio and like Crazy Taxi. You know, you're like inline
And
skating to
maybe a
your
little
taxi
Sonic
job,
thrown
and
in for
then
good measure. Who
yeah,
knows?
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
who knows? But guys, it is officially canceled, and they've confirmed that this super game is no longer happening. And they were talking about investing up to over $880 million over 5 years to achieve this super game. Like it was crazy. But there's a whole bunch of different reasons behind this. But looking at live service and where it is now, and some of I think they even acquired, was it the Candy Crush studio? They acquired some big mobile studio, and they're just noticing the trends going a direction they don't want. And so now they have decided to cancel it and slide a bunch of their developers that were working on it on other free to play titles as well into what they call full game development teams focusing on mainstay IPs. And so they still are planning revivals of franchises like Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and others. So to me, this is good news. I want these companies
Yeah.
to lean away from an overabundance of live service games. I'm not saying they can't have any, but one or two, and then keep making the regular games we like. You don't have to make 18. Like, why did Sony plan like 7 of these? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Anyway,
right. Well, and didn't Amazon just canceled their like $200 million like starting
the,
budget for their like Lord of the
yeah,
Rings MMO, and
the
like just
MMO,
canceled it.
yeah,
Like, so it's like that's another huge game
gone.
that someone spent hundreds of millions of dollars on. They're just like, nah.
Just
Like,
gone now.
come up with the nah before you spend the money. You know what I mean? Why
For
not?
real.
Like, I
For
just
real.
have a little forward thinking about like where the future is going to be with stuff like this.
Yep. Could not agree more. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. We already talked about mixtape a bit. All three of us have finished that. We enjoyed it. Sorry if you really enjoy hating things, but it's actually a pretty pleasant experience if you go into it without any preconceived notions or anger in your heart. And Forza Horizon 6 is out, and that looks amazing. It sounds like these two guys are saying it plays amazing. Can't wait for that. Is there anything else that we've missed? We talked about Persona 3 Reload that Kyle finished. Anything else before we get out of here that you guys are playing or want to highlight?
Oh, I finally played y'all's game of the year, Retro Rewind. I was built for it though. I'm built for it because I'm a former Blockbuster employee, so it felt like I was just back at work, however many years ago that was. It is pleasant though. It is like a nice break from pretty much everything. It's relaxing in a way.
Yeah.
Even though you're trying to take care of everybody, the stakes are low. And then Pragmata, I'm in the 4th area now, and this game is just more and more impressive the further along you
Is
get
that the
into it.
mines, right?
I want to say yes. It suddenly turns into like what do you call
bouncing?
those? Yeah, you're definitely doing some of that. I think you get further in, and then there's like an enemy you're trying to jump off the ground to avoid.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
worm, like a
yeah.
big sand.
Yeah,
worm.
that stuff is so cool.
Classic
Yeah,
mechanic.
Yeah. Freaking great game.
Just a gratifying game. It's like every time they give you a new struggle, they give you a weapon to combat it.
Yep.
It's just smart game design.
Everything has its foil, and it's just about you remembering what does what to whom. And like once you
Exactly.
have that, it's cake, dude. But it's so gratifying.
I love it. By the way, with Retro Rewind, I always assumed that those movie titles and covers were just AI generated using the same assets over and over again. Those were created by the developers. But yes, they reuse the assets a lot, like the little like images that are on the movie covers. They came up with all the titles and they use all the graphics. Like they made all those. So and they're ridiculous, those movie titles.
When somebody comes in and goes, I want a bad drama, I'm like, go home. Why would you want to waste your time?
Yeah, right,
I just go, no. Yeah. And he's like, no worries.
Yeah, it's so funny when they'll say something like that, like, hey, my dad's coming into town to visit and I want a drama. Oh, and extra points if it's bad. I'm like, why? Why do you want to see a bad movie with your dad?
Your dad's going to disown you. Like, don't do that. That's
what
crazy.
are we doing?
Son.
Very.
I regret coming back in your life. Like that type of thing.
Yeah. No, it's... And you can repair videos now, which is actually nice because I'm not wasting money anymore, just throwing them away. So you can repair them.
And having to... So basically you have to restock, right? And buy new ones for the inventory? Yeah, okay. I figured.
So now you can... Which the repair makes no sense. You open it up, you clip a big chunk of the movie out, and then you retape it back together. And then I'm like, what part of the movie are they missing?
They're missing the whole second act of all these movies.
And you can do that to the same movie over and over again. It doesn't matter. You just clip a big chunk of it out and it works again. I'm like, you know what?
That is really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. Well, anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. And I hope you get a chance to play some Forza Horizon because it looks incredible. But we'll see you on the next one. Peace.